Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a house in Unturned 3.0 with 2 stories, a set of windows, torches, a front door, and a ladder to get up and down from the first and second floor. Now when compared to Unturned 2.0 or Unturned Classic, the process is actually quite a bit more simple. So let's get right into it. First off, to build a home like this one, you're going to need some basic supplies to start off with. First off, you're going to need some sort of efficient tree harvesting tool like a camp axe, fire axe, or chainsaw. Now the camp axes can be found at any sort of farm or campsite, and the locations of those will be on the screen right now. The fire axes can obviously be found at the fire stations, and those will be shown on the screen right now. And lastly, the chainsaw, the best of them all, can be found at farm locations. In order of the worst tool to the best tool, we have the camp axe, fire axe, and chainsaw. Also, in the skills category and under the support section, upping your outdoors skill, which allows you to chop down trees faster, of course helps the wood collection process as well. Now luckily, in Unturned 3.0, the only thing that you need to retrieve in order to craft the main sections of your home, like the walls, pillars, floors, roof, and this wooden hole that separates the first and second floor, you only need logs. Everything requires 3 logs in order to make them, so that does make the process pretty easy. One thing to keep in mind is that maple trees will give you maple logs and birch trees will give you birch logs, and if you're playing on a custom map with pine trees, they give you pine logs. They all create a different look for your house, obviously. The birch creates white walls or white pillars, and the pine logs will create a darker shade of whatever you made. The maple one, which you see here, creates kind of in between of just a regular brown, and this whole entire house is made out of them. So in order to craft a house like this, a very basic one, 2 stories with 4 walls, 4 pillars on each floor, you are going to need 57 logs in total. But to craft the details like the ladders, doorways, and torches, you're going to need some sticks and tape and planks and stuff, and that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to go over that first. Now in order to create torches, you are going to need 4 sticks and 2 metal scrap. The sticks are gotten from the trees. When you chop them down, they kind of drop a combination of logs and sticks. So make sure that in total, for the torches at least, you have 16 sticks. You may also make more torches or less torches as you see fit. I just find that 4 is a pretty good amount. Scrap metal can be found in industrial locations like construction sites and hardware stores. Locations of those will be on the screen right now, but they can also be gotten from destroyed cars, which I find is just the easiest way. Whenever you come across a car, shoot it or punch it until it catches on fire, and then when it explodes, just go pick up the scrap metal. You can usually get quite a bit from each car. Moving on to the ladder, you need 6 sticks and a roll of tape. The tape is also found at the same industrial locations, and it can't be retrieved in any other way. And lastly, for the door, we have 5 maple planks and 1 metal scrap. You can make maple planks from logs by combining them with a handsaw, and your character will cut up the logs into 4 different planks. Handsaws can also be found at industrial locations, and they are actually pretty rare, so you're going to have to go to quite a few locations until you find a handsaw. So your house might be without a door for a little bit, but once you do have the ability to create some planks, it opens up opportunities to make even more advanced things like crates and barricades. So it is definitely something that you should have. But anyway, once you've gathered all those materials, you can move on into the crafting section, and in the barricades section is where we're going to start crafting these things. We have our maple door, just go ahead and click on that. We also have our torches down at the very bottom, so we're going to craft 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. And lastly, we have our maple ladder. There we go. So now we have our details of our house fully crafted. As you can see, we got 4 torches, 1 maple ladder, and 1 maple door. From here, we're going to need to craft the house itself, and that's where we're going to need to go get 57 logs. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll get right back to you. Alright, I think I've got all 57 pretty roughly. I think I was just counting when I picked them all up, but I think I lost count a few times. Now in the overall plan, we're going to need to build 1 floor at the bottom here, 5 walls in total, 3 on the bottom floor and 2 up on the top floor. We got 1 right there and 1 right there. We have 1 front doorway right here, a roof up there, and finally a maple hole right there. Oh yeah, and then we've got the 2 windows as well. So in total, and then the 8 pillars. So yeah, there's a lot to make. So we're just going to sit here and stare at this house so I can remember while I'm crafting all this stuff. Everything is in the structures category. So as you can see, everything takes 3 maple logs. And I got 43 in my inventory right now. And then I've got the rest on the floor here. So starting off, we're going to start with our maple floor right here, maple floor. We also need to make all of our pillars, all 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. We have our maple hole, and also our maple roof down here. Our 2 windows. Where is that? Maple window down here. Yep, maple window. We got 2 of those. 1, 2. And then we'll pick up the rest of our logs so we can craft the rest of the walls. There we go. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Go into walls. Here we go. Oh, it looks like I got 1 more than I needed. Alright, so now we have all of our supplies that we need in order to build our house. It does look pretty complicated, but don't worry, once we start actually putting down the stuff, it'll make a lot more sense. To start off, we're going to need to put down our maple floor, which is down here in a nice place. We'll put it right here. So once you put down the maple floor, you can now start putting in pillars. Now you cannot put down any sort of maple wall or maple floor or maple roof, I should say, until you have at least 4 pillars. I guess for walls you only need 2 on each side, but as you can see, if I put down a maple wall without any pillars up, it's going to say missing pillar and it's going to be red. So we're going to put down all 4 of our pillars on the lower level. And then the rest of the 4 will be up on top, but we'll get into that once we get there. And now that we have all 4 pillars, we can now put down the walls. And as you can see, it's green because we have all 4 of our pillars down. So we're going to put down 3, except for the doorway. There we go. So I'll have my doorway right here, so we don't want to put a wall right there. So we'll have our maple doorway right here. Put that right there. Very nice. And we also need to put on our little roof right here, which is actually just a maple hole, which essentially behaves just like this maple roof here, except it has a hole in it, so that way we can snap a ladder to it. Also be mindful of where that arrow is pointing. Make sure that it's pointing away from the front entrance, because where that arrow is pointing is where the ladder will snap to. You can't snap it to any other corners or sides of that hole. It can only snap to the side that the arrow is pointing. So I want the ladder to snap there, so that's where we're good to go. If you want to rotate the piece, you can right click, and that will also change where that ladder snaps to. So have the arrow be pointing in the opposite direction of the front entrance. There we go. And now when we equip our ladder, as you can see, it wants to snap to that side. You can't snap it to any other section. So we'll put down the ladder right there, and we'll move on to the second floor and repeat the same process. We'll put down these pillars on all 4 corners. Very nice. And then lastly, we'll put on the roof on the top. But lastly, to add on our final details, we're going to need to add on a maple door right here. It will automatically just snap in the doorway as long as you've got it right there. Once you've got the door here, we're going to start adding some lighting, because at nighttime, it's pretty dark in here. I mean, I guess you could see a little bit, but it's not the best. So using those torches that we made earlier, we're going to put 2 on the outside. Now this is all up to you on how you'd like to place it, but this is kind of my personal opinion on what's the best placement. 1 on the inside on the lower level, and 1 on this side. I might need to do 2 here to make it just symmetrical, but you can put it on just one side and it'll light up just fine. Now in PvP servers, obviously you're going to need to be very lenient on how you put down these torches. I'd recommend first fortifying your base before you put down torches, because now anybody can see this house at nighttime. It sticks out like a sore thumb. But anyway, that is how you build a house in Unturned. As I said earlier, it's actually pretty simple, especially when compared to Unturned 2.0. Back in Unturned 2.0, there were like plates and crosses and posts and lots of sticks that were involved in the process. And in Unturned 3.0, that process was simplified. If you guys have any sort of questions regarding the building process, just be sure to comment that down below and I'll do my best to reply to them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish, because MeLikeBigBoom is out.